Shalom. This Shabbat we are going to read Parashat Bo. It describes the last three plagues that Hashem inflicted on the Egyptians before the Egyptians begged Moshe and Yisrael to leave Egypt and go. However, before the last plague, which is the Makat Vechorot, the Hashem gives mitzvah to Am Israel, and that is Kiddush hodesh. Hodesh is lachem rosh hodeshim, rishon hu lachem l'hodshei hashana. That this is the first month, and you should count all the hodashim, all the months beginning with the base of Rosh Hodesh Nisan, that it is the first one, and in fact we call it the Hodesh Harishon, and from there we can say Hodesh Sheni, which is Ayar, and Sivan Hodesh Lishi, and this is how the Torah names the months. Like Rosh Hashanah is Hodesh Hashvi'i, and of course Yom Kippur and Sukkot. In any event, the Hodesh Nisan is considered the first one for Melachim, Moadim, Hodashim, and Trumot, because we do know that in Adar we start collecting Mahasit al-Shekel in the month. We collect the contributions to fix the Mikdash, and from Rosh Chodesh Nisan they use the new money, and that's why it is Rosh Chodesh Trumot. In any event, so I would like to talk today about the issue of Rosh Chodesh. As we mentioned before, that it is that the first mitzvah that Am Israel as a nation received from Hashem. The first mitzvah of the Torah is mitzvah Peru Urbu. This is individual. It is only on men, and that summarizes it. But when in Chodesh Nisan, Hashem said that you collectively consecrate this month, and from that will be the basis and the starting point of all the holidays, and the time, because and it has several significances, because until now the Jews were abadim, they were slaves. However, Hashem is telling them that was past. You were slaves, and your time does not belong to you. It belonged to your masters. However, now I'm going to put the time in your hands, and that's why when we say the Kiddush in the holidays, we say Mekadesh Israel v'Hazmanim. Israel before the Zmanim, because Israel, when they consecrate the months, at that time the holidays will fall into place. So we control when the holiday will fall. Unlike on Shabbat, we say Mekadesh Shabbat, and because Shabbat is from Hashem, it is Mekudash. And when we have Kiddush, when there is Shabbat and Mo'ed and holiday, we say Mekadesh Shabbat, Ve'Israel, Ve'Azmanim, in that order. So here it is a sign that Hashem put the time in our hands. So and this is a lesson that many of us, we have the time passes and control us. And we waste it, and we don't do anything good with it. It is a message from Hashem that to a very large extent, except has halila, that somebody is sick, somebody is not in control of his mind, that he does not have control of the time. To a large extent, we have control of our time. Now, how the Hebrew calendar is based on both the lunar and the solar system. We do know that every hodesh it is related to the moon, that is the lunar part. However, because we have mitzvah that we should have hodesh Abib, that the Pesach should be in the spring. We have to adjust, and because the lunar year is shorter than the solar year by about 10 or 11 days, we have to adjust the calendar in a way that the Pesach will fall always in the spring. We do know that the Muslims, they have the month of Ramadan. That's the month when they fast the entire month. It does rotate. Every year it comes about 10 or 11 days earlier than the previous year. So over a course of 36 years, it will rotate full year. So if it is in July this year, let's say July 1st, another 36 years, it will be again around July 1st, maybe 1st or 2nd, and so on and so forth. So in 18 years, it will be opposite. It will be like in April, beginning of April. To prevent that, because we have halakha that we have to celebrate Pesach only in the spring, we have the Shana Me'uberet, we have leap years. And so who did all that? We Hillel Hashani, Hillel Nesi'ah, they call him also. Because as we mentioned before, that Hashem told Moshe that this is hodesh Hashem. He show him re'eh ve'kadesh, that this is how it looks like, because Moshe did not understand when he will consecrate the month. So around dusk, around the evening time, Hashem, when the moon also appeared, he told him this is how it looks, and that you kadesh oto. And then halakha Moshe Sinai, and it continued that they used to have two witnesses and come to the Beddin, and when they ask him, they investigate them. How did you see it? From where? From what angle? How did it look like? If they are correct, they say mekudash, and this is Rosh Hodesh. However, with time and around the Hillel Hashani, he was the 5th generation Amoraim in Eretz Israel. He found the situation, the political situation was changing because the Emperor Constantine was he abolished the persecution of Christians, because the Roman Empire was a pagan empire. And then he converted to Christianity himself with the influence of his mom, Queen Helena. And they, by the way, they said that she is the one that started the church in Jerusalem that is still exists now, which is the sepulchre. In any event, he realized that the persecution against the Jews are increasing, and the population of Israel, of the Jews in Israel, is decreasing. And he realized that the people who are expert, and there is no halakha, Moshe said, there is no smicha anymore, it is becoming very difficult. He took upon himself, he did have the authority because he was the president of Beddin, to say that I'm going to do calendar ledorot to the coming generation, and he did. It was year 359. And until now, all the community, Ashkenazim, Sfaradim, they follow his calendar, and this is how the Jewish holidays are celebrated and observed. And here we can see the ingenuity of Hillel, because now he studied around 1,000 years before him. And when did the month fall? And he realized that the lunar month consists of 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, and 3.33 seconds. So they calculated that the split second. and very, very little difference there exists between the actual astronomical lunar month and the month that was calculated by Hillel. It is completely insignificant, and probably he adopted that for the sake of simplicity. So because of that, and because the day of in the Jewish calendar starts in the evening, we have some months that they are 29 days, some are 30 days. However, and when there are certain months that they are always meleim, which are the 30 days months, and we have months that they are always hasirim, that they are 29 days. When we have hodesh maleh, when we have full months of 30 days, the rosh hodesh of the following months will be two days. The first day is the 30th of the previous month, and the second day would be the beginning of the new month. Okay, so now, for example, we had Rosh Hodesh Shvat last week, and it happened to be on Monday, last Monday, the 12th of the month. The Rosh Hodesh Shvat always maleh, which means that when we have Rosh Chodesh Adar, this year it's going to be Adar Rishon, the first day will be the 30th of Shvat, and the second day would be Adar Rishon, the Adar Rishon, so and so on and so forth. There are certain Rosh Chodashim that they are always one day. Like Shvat, we said one of them, Nisan is one of them, Sivan is one of them, and Av is one of them. Now, we have months that they are always full, and some of them are always hasirim, or they are only the short months, 29 days. However, 2 months of the year, Heshvan and Kislev, sometimes they are full, sometimes they are short months, and sometimes both of them are full or both of them are short, and sometimes one of them is each way, and everything was calculated. That is to show us the ingenuity of our rabbi, that many years ago they were able to calculate that literally to the split second. Now, it is the Bnei Am Israel is likened to the moon, and for a few reasons. Number one, Shana and the year is it's like the same thing. The solar year is the same thing always the time. Shana means shanen, to repeat and repeat. However, hodesh, which is the month, is also from the shoresh of hadash, new. So every time we are mitchachim, Bnei Am Israel tamid mithadesh. And we see, just like the moon, that sometimes it is small, sometimes it is big. We also, in our history, in our long history, the longest history of any nation on earth, sometimes we have good times, sometimes we have bad time. However, there will be new moon, and there is renewal. And this is the genes, this is a chromosome of Am Israel. Also, it is inspiring, because when we see the moon is getting shorter and shorter, anyone who has even the least amount of observance or capability of observance know that time is fleeting, that the time is passing by. What I'm doing with the most valuable gift that Hashem gave us, which is time on earth, and try to do hashbon nefesh, to review ourselves, what we are doing with our time. Like the pasuk said, ki panah hayom ki natus le'arev, that the day is going and going away. So this is also our life. We have to make sure to appreciate it. And when the moon is mithadesh, going and growing, this is reflection of Am Israel. We always have always this hitachut. We do know that right after the Inquisition and the expulsion of the Jews from Spain, they came to America, and this is one of the most successful exile story in the history. Right after the Holocaust, the state of Israel was established, and it is Reshit Smihat Geulatenu. This is the beginning of our salvation. Every time when there is calamity, it is followed by something good, and sometimes from that calamity, something good happens. Also, we are likened to moon because when it rises, it doesn't rise from the same spot. We do know also that the sun doesn't rise from the same spot, but the difference is very, very minimal. 1 degree every week or so. And however, the moon does change the location of its rising more significantly. And also the shape of the moon when it rises is different than previous time. The color of the moon is different. In fact, Leil Sukkot this year, the past year 57-70, this year's 57-76, we all witnessed eclipse, and we also witnessed a very beautiful red moon when we were able to see it in entirety. We had eclipse and also we had clouds. But it was, I remember in our house, we had a magnificent show to show us Maaseh Bereshit, how the wisdom of God expressed itself. Also, the time of the rising of the moon is different. Sometimes it varies sometimes by hours from 1 month to month. And I addressed that in previous talk. With a little more astronomical knowledge about that, and all these, the location, the shape, the time, is also a reflection on how our Geula, how our salvation is going to happen. We can't imagine. Hashem, He has many ways to send His salvation, and we hope that the final salvation will come soon. In fact, when we say Birkat Lebana, we say David Melech Israel Chai V'Kayam. Interestingly enough, that it is the gematria of David Melech Israel Chai V'Kayam, Kayam with one yud, is 814, and Rosh hodesh, Rosh is 501, and hodesh is 313, 814. So that's why we use David Melech Israel Chai V'Kayam. In fact, when the Greek took power and they prevented the Jews from celebrating Rosh Hodesh, so they had to go to Siadim, and the way they transferred the news, they used to sing David Melech Israel V'Kayam, which is to declare that this is really now Rosh Hodesh, the same Gematria. And because we do know that we remember Lo Yasur Shebet Miuda V'Chokek Beralav Ad Ki Yabo Shilo, that we are always hoping that the king, the Davidic dynasty, will come again, and Mashiach is one of them, and to have the full salvation. In the Rosh Hodesh, we do know that it has a few changes. The prayer, but what is interesting is that we have, for example, Ya'aleh Ve'yabo, we say Barichi Nafshi. In the Sfaradim, the Ashkenazim, they don't say it. We say, we have Sefer Torah. We don't say Tahanun. And in Birkat Hamazon, we say, instead of saying Magdil, we say Migdol. And the reason for that, this is Pasuk in Tehillim, Magdil Shot Malkava Seder Mishho. In the Navi, it says Migdol. That during weekdays, Magdil, that Hashem is going on and increasing the day. However, in Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh and any day that has Musaf, only when there Musaf, it has nothing to do with only Tahanun, we say Migdol, that it is already big. So Migdol Yeshuot Malko Ve'oseh Chesed L'Mshicho LeDavid Ul'Zaro Ad Olam. We hope that the Mashiach ben David Yabo b'mhira b'yameinu Amen. Shabbat Shalom.